Item number 8A, may I have a motion for this item for 8A, please?
Madam Mayor, motion consideration and action to amend resolution 2023-001 and resolution 2017-08 to open the Meetings Act in conjunction with the mayor, board trustees, and city manager policies, procedures.
Madam Mayor, second. First motion by trustee Barreras, second motion by Mayor Pro Tem Flores. Discussion, Mr. Infante.
Madam Mayor, we do have a PowerPoint presentation the clerk will put up. Let's go to the next slide. So there's really three changes within the two resolutions. I put these up there so it would make it easy to read and so you could quickly identify them. Under Resolution 2023-01, Amendment 1, Part 9, and I'll read it out loud for the benefit of everyone. It says, the mayor as chairman of the board shall set the agenda and order. Where a board of trustee member wishes to add or remove on the agenda, the items may be added or removed upon approval of the mayor. Should the mayor refuse to add or remove an item on the agenda, the simple majority vote by the board of trustees may override the mayor to add or remove items from the agenda for the subsequent regular board meeting. This is a clarification that has already occurred, and our attorney has exactly recommended this. We do have Mr. Young on the call if you guys have any questions, but this should not be new. I'll go to the next slide and then I'll entertain questions. On Resolution 2017-008, Amendment 3. Adopting rules. Any matter not covered by these rules shall be governed by the decision of the presiding officer, applying Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised edition, including but not limited to drafting of the agenda and agenda order. The Act does not require a public body to allow members of the public to speak at the meeting. Again, this is an item that's come up before. The attorney has also communicated, and I wanted to just put the clarification points. I'll read them for the benefit of everybody. Essentially, this cleans up section 1.4. As you know, city attorney, Mr. Allendahl, has recommended that we clarify it so there's no ambiguity during the meetings. Also, we cited that New Mexico League Open Meetings Act, we've got the statute there under section 10-15-1 at the very bottom. This has been an item of sort of debate, and the statute does clearly state that this does not state that the attendees must be allowed to speak, but only to attend and listen. Okay, that's what the statute says. And of course, if there's any questions, be happy to turn it over to our attorney when I'm done here. Next slide. And then finally, again, just making sure that under 2017-008, this is Article 2.3, we want to make sure that the consistency of the document carries its way through. The order of business shall be governed by the decision of the presiding officer. Again, presiding officer being defined in Robert's Rules of Order, which are in your current Open Meetings Act. So with that, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. But we do also want to acknowledge we do have Mr. Ben Young, City Attorney, on the call. Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Mayor, if I may, Trustee Olin.
Go ahead, Trustee Barreras. Olin, you have the floor.
I do not necessarily agree with this, mainly because of the issues that have arisen in the past. Something as simple as a consent agenda that should have just gone. You know, there's a lot of amendments that have been done, you know, at the moment that I do not agree with, but you know, this to me just seems kind of like a power control thing. Especially something, I know that the statute says that we are not required to allow members from the public to speak at the meetings, you know, it's on there. But the fact that we need to list it on this resolution, only worries me, because in the past, I mean, we moved public comment to after ordinance hearings, and we had to have public hearings till, what time was it, 9 p.m.? So for me, it's, taking power away, not only from the community, but from other members that have been elected on here. Because specifically, I would have been fine with this being passed at the beginning of our term. But the fact that it's being done now, after the fact that my agenda items weren't placed on there, after the fact that the public comments were moved, I do not agree with. Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, Trustee Silva, can we post up the, Carla, can you post up the, first item, the first highlighted item in yellow, please?
Sorry, give me one. You can see this PowerPoint, right?
Yes. So on that item right there, it's telling you the mayor as chairman of the board shall set the agenda in order. By stating that, I mean exactly what Trustee Cortez just stated. So this, just correct me if I'm wrong, if I can understand it. Shall set the agenda order. So if I have something to place on there, or any of the other trustees have anything to place on, does this specify that it's to be determined by the mayor? Whether what items go on or do not go on? Is that number one?
Madam Mayor, members of the governing body, and Trustee Silva, in essence, you are correct. And this has occurred, Trustee Silva, where an item has been requested. In some cases, they've been added, in other cases, they have not. The attorney has been asked to rule on it. Essentially, the attorney has provided the guidance and said, hey, if you want an item on the agenda during your comments at the end of the meeting, you can make a motion to add items in a subsequent meeting. Given the majority vote, it gets added. The attorney has also stated that this needed clarification, so there's no ambiguity.
I think this comment here is too broad, because I mean some items may be required to be removed, for whatever purpose, but right here saying the majority is saying, should the mayor refuse to add or remove an item on the agenda, the simple majority vote by the board of trustees may override the mayor to add or remove items from the agenda from the subsequent regular meeting. So this doesn't just pertain to Mayor Trujillo, that this pertains to the individuals that's sitting in that seat, whether it's Mayor Trujillo or the incoming mayor, or she happens to be mayor, or whatever the case may be. It's not about the mayor, it's about the seat in itself. So if the mayor refused it in this meeting, chances are that the individual's gonna refuse it in the next meeting. So my item would never make the agenda if I chose to, so it kind of like blocks our opportunity as trustees to get our items on the agenda, first and foremost. And then second, I stated this before, that I believe that the public comments should always be on there to allow the public to express what their point of view is. Their point of view is their point of view. So if somebody feels that they have something to say and want to express it, I don't understand. And I clearly understand the freedom of speech. I read the Roberts rules. I looked at it. It also states on there, the Roberts rules, what the speaker's remarks must, be related to the subject being discussed. it literally says that confining remarks to the subject matter under discussion. Well, but I mean, it kind of contradicts itself because, comments aren't under discussion. That's not when they're, standing up to speak. So, I don't agree with that. You know, I just wanted to express that, but, I yield the floor.
The only comment I have is that, as a presiding officer, I am here to protect the assembly from obviously dilatory motions and to expedite business. Everything that is, conducting business, so. Any further discussions? I see and hear none. May I have a roll call?
Mayor Pro Tem Flores,
Yes.
Trustee Barreras,
Yes.
Trustee Silva,
No.
Trustee Holguín,
No.
and Mayor, you have 2 to 2 vote, may we get a tiebreaker?
Yes.
And Mayor, you have 3 to 2 vote, motion